HalleluYAH Scriptures. Nisle. Proverbs. Chapter 1. The Proverbs of Shamayim son of David, sovereign of Israel. For knowing wisdom and discipline. For understanding the words of understanding. For receiving the discipline of wisdom, righteousness, right ruling, and straightness. For giving insight to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the young. The wise one hears and increases learning, and the understanding one gets wise counsel. For understanding a proverb and a figure, the words of the wise and their riddles. The reverence of the Most High is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and discipline. My son, heed the discipline of your father, and do not forsake the Torah of your mother. For they are a wreath of esteem on your head, and necklaces of your neck. My son, if sinners entice you, do not give in. If they say, "Come with us, let us lie in wait for blood, let us ambush the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them alive like the grave, and entirely like those going down to the pit. Let us find all precious goods. Let us fill our houses with spoil. Cast in your lot among us. Let us all have one purse. My son, do not walk in the way with them. Keep your foot from their path. For their feet run to evil, and they hurry to shed blood. For in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird. But they lie in wait for their own blood. They ambush their own lives. Such are the ways of everyone greedy for gain. It takes away the life of its owners. Wisdom calls aloud outside. She raises her voice in the broad places. At the head of the noisy streets she cries out. At the openings of the gates, in the city she speaks her words. How long, you simple ones, would you love simplicity? And shall scoffers delight in their scoffing, and fools hate knowledge? Turn at my reproof. See, I pour out my spirit on you. I make my words known to you. Because I called and you refused, I have stretched out my hand and no one inclined. And you spurned all my counsel, and would not yield to my reproof. Let me also laugh at your calamity, mock when your dread comes. When your dread comes like a storm, and your calamity comes like a whirlwind. When distress and anguish come upon you, let them then call on me, but I answer not. Let them seek me, but not find me, because they hated knowledge and did not choose the reverence of the Most High. They did not accept my counsel. They despised all my reproof. Therefore let them eat the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own counsels. For the turning away of the simple slays them, and the complacency of fools destroys them. But whoever listens to me dwells safely, and is at ease from the dread of evil. Chapter 2. My son, if you accept my words, and treasure up my commands with you, so that you make your ear attend to wisdom, incline your heart to understanding. For if you cry for discernment, lift up your voice for understanding. If you seek her as silver, and search for her as hidden treasures, then you would understand the reverence of the Most High, and find the knowledge of Elohim. For the Most High gives wisdom, out of his mouth knowledge and understanding, and he treasures up stability for the straight, a shield to those walking blamelessly, to watch over the paths of right ruling, and the way of his kind ones he guards. Then you would understand righteousness and right ruling, and straightness every good path. For wisdom would enter your heart, and knowledge be pleasant to your being. Discretion would guard you, understanding would watch over you, to deliver you from the evil way, from the man who speaks perversities, those who leave the paths of straightness to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice to do evil. They delight in the perversities of evil, whose paths are crooked, and they are perverted in their ways, to deliver you from the strange woman, from the foreigner who flatters with her words, who forsakes the companion of her youth, and has forgotten the covenant of her Elohim. For her house has sunk down to death, and her paths to the dead. None going into her returns, nor do they reach the paths of high. So walk in the way of goodness, and guard the paths of righteousness. For the straight shall dwell in the earth, and the perfect be left in it. But the wicked shall be cut off from the earth, and the treacherous ones plucked out of it. Chapter 3. My son, do not forget my Torah, and let your heart watch over my commands. For length of days and long life and peace they add to you. Let not kindness and truth forsake you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart, thus finding favor and good insight in the eyes of Elohim and man. Trust in the Most High with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Know him in all your ways, and he makes all your paths straight. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Revere the Most High and turn away from evil. It is healing to your navel and moistening to your bones. Esteem the Most High with your goods, and with the first fruits of all your increase. Then your storehouses shall be filled with plenty, and your vats overflow with new wine. My son, do not despise the discipline of the Most High, and do not loathe his reproof. For whom the Most High loves he reproves, as a father the son whom he delights in. Barak is the man who has found wisdom, and the man who gets understanding. For the gain from it is better than gain from silver, and its increase than fine gold. She is more precious than rubies, and all your delights are not comparable to her. Length of days is in her right hand, riches and esteem in her left hand. Her ways are pleasant ways, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of high to those taking hold of her, and Barak are all who retain her. The Most High founded the earth by wisdom. He established the Shamayim by understanding. By his knowledge the depths were broken up, and clouds dropped down dew. My son, let them not depart from your eyes. Watch over sound wisdom and discretion. Then they become high to your being, and an adorning to your neck. Then you would walk safely in your way, and your foot would not stumble. When you lie down, you need not be afraid, and you shall lie down, and your sleep shall be sweet. Do not be afraid of sudden dread, nor of the ruin of the wicked when it comes. For the Most High is at your side, and he shall guard your foot from being caught. Do not withhold good from those who deserve it, when it is in the power of your hand to do so. Do not say to your neighbor, Go and come back, and tomorrow I give it, when you have it with you. Do not plan evil against your neighbor, seeing he dwells safely beside you. Do not strive with a man without cause, if he has done you no evil. Do not envy a violent man, and choose none of his ways. For the perverse one is an abomination to the Most High, and his secret counsel is with the straight. The curse of the Most High is on the house of the wicked, but he Barak the home of the righteous. He certainly scoffs the scoffers, but gives favor to the humble. The wise inherit esteem, but fools are bearing away shame. Chapter 4. Children, listen to the discipline of a father, and give attention to no understanding. For I gave you good instruction. Do not forsake my Torah. For I was my father's son, tender, and the only one in the eyes of my mother. Then he taught me and said to me, Let your heart hold fast my words, guard my commands, and live. Get wisdom, get understanding. Do not forget, and do not turn away from the words of my mouth. Do not leave her, and let her guard you. Love her, and let her watch over you. The beginning of wisdom is, get wisdom, and with all your getting, get understanding. Exalt her, and let her uplift you. She brings you esteem when you embrace her. She gives your head a wreath of esteem. She shields you with an adorning crown. Hear, my son, and accept my words, and let the years of your life be many. I have taught you in the way of wisdom. I have led you in straight paths. When you walk, your steps shall not be hindered, and if you run, you shall not stumble. Hold fast to discipline, do not let go. Watch over her, for she is your high. Do not enter the path of the wicked, and do not walk in the way of evildoers. Avoid it, do not pass by it. Turn away from it and pass on, for they do not sleep unless they have done evil, and their sleep is taken away unless they make someone fall. For they have eaten the bread of wickedness, and they drink the wine of violence. But the path of the righteous is like the light of dawn, that shines ever brighter unto the perfect day. The way of the wicked is like darkness. They do not know at what they stumble. My son, listen to my words. Incline your ear to my sayings. Let them not depart from your eyes. Guard them in the midst of your heart, for they are high to those who find them, and healing to all their flesh. Watch over your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the sources of high. Turn away from you a crooked mouth, and put perverse lips far from you. Let your eyes look forward, and your eyelids look straight before you. Consider the path of your feet, and all your ways are established. Do not turn to the right or the left. Turn your foot away from evil. Chapter 5. My son, listen to my wisdom. Incline your ear to my understanding, so as to watch over discretion, and your lips guard knowledge. For the lips of a strange woman drip honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end she is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death, her steps lay hold of the grave. She does not consider the path of high. Her ways are unstable, you do not know it. So now, listen to me, you children, and do not turn away from the words of my mouth. Keep your way far from her, and do not come near the door of her house, lest you give your splendor to others, and your years to one who is cruel, lest strangers be filled with your strength, and your labors go to the house of a foreigner. Then you shall howl in your latter end, when your flesh and your body are consumed, and shall say, How I have hated discipline, and my heart has despised reproof. And I have not heeded the voice of my teachers, and I have not inclined my ear to those who instructed me. And a little while I was in all evil, in the midst of an assembly and a congregation. Drink water from your own cistern, and running water from your own well. Should your springs be scattered abroad, rivers of water in the streets, let them be only your own, and not for strangers with you. Let your fountain be Barak, and rejoice with the wife of your youth, a loving deer and a pleasant doe. Let her breast satisfy you at all times, and be captivated by her love always. For why should you, my son, be captivated by a strange woman, and embrace the bosom of a foreigner? For the ways of man are before the eyes of the Most High, and he considers all his paths. The wicked is entrapped in his own wickednesses, and he is caught in the cords of his sin. He dies for lack of discipline, and in the greatness of his folly he goes astray. Chapter 6. My son, if you have become guarantor for your friend, have shaken hands in pledge for a stranger, have been snared by the words of your own mouth, have been caught by the words of your mouth, do this at once, my son, and deliver yourself, for you have come into the hand of your friend. Go, humble yourself, and urge your friend. Give no sleep to your eyes, nor slumber to your eyelids. Deliver yourself like a gazelle from the hand, and like a bird from the hand of the trapper. Go to the ant, you lazy one. See her ways and be wise, which, having no commander, overseer, or ruler, provides her supplies in the summer, gathers her food in the harvest. How long would you lie down, O lazy one? When do you arise from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to lie down, and your poverty shall come like a prowler, and your need as an armed man. A man of Belial, a wicked man, walks with a perverse mouth, winks with his eyes, shuffles his feet, points with his fingers. Perverseness is in his heart. Plotting evil at all times, he sends out strife. Therefore his calamity comes suddenly, instantly he is broken, and there is no healing. These 6 the Most High hates, and 7 are an abomination to him: a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands shedding innocent blood, a heart devising wicked schemes, feet quick to run to evil, a false witness breathing out lies, and one who causes strife among brothers. My son, watch over your father's command, and do not forsake the Torah of your mother. Bind them on your heart always. Tie them around your neck. When you are walking about, it leads you. When you lie down, it guards you. and when you have woken up, it talks to you. For the command is a lamp, and the Torah a light, and reproofs of discipline a way of high, to guard you against an evil woman, from the flattering tongue of a strange woman. Do not desire her prettiness in your heart, neither let her captivate you with her eyelids. For because of a whore is the crust of bread, and an adulteress entraps a precious life. Would a man take fire to his bosom, and his garments not be burned? Would a man walk on hot coals, and his feet not be scorched? So is he who goes in to his neighbor's wife. None who touches her goes unpunished. They do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his appetite when he is starving. Yet if he is caught, he repays sevenfold. He gives all the wealth of his house. He who commits adultery with a woman lacks heart. He who does it destroys his own hide. He finds smiting and shame, and his reproach is not wiped away. For jealousy enrages a man, and he does not spare in the day of vengeance. He does not regard any ransom, nor accept your bribe, however great. Chapter 7. My son, guard my words, and treasure up my commands with you. Guard my commands and live, and my Torah as the apple of your eye. Bind them on your fingers, write them on the tablet of your heart. Say to wisdom, you are my sister, and call understanding a close friend, to guard you against the strange woman, against the foreigner who flatters with her words. For at the window of my house I looked through my lattice, and I saw among the simple, I perceived among the youths, a young man lacking heart, passing through the street near her corner, and he went the way to her house, in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. And look, a woman met him, dressed like a whore, with a hidden heart. She was boisterous and stubborn. Her feet did not stay at her own house. Now in the street, now in the square, and at every corner she lurks. And she took hold of him and kissed him. She hardened her face and said to him, peace offerings are with me. Today I have paid my vows. Therefore I came out to meet you, to earnestly seek your face, and I found you. I have spread my bed with coverings, colored linens of Mitzrayim. I have sprinkled my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of love until morning. Let us delight ourselves with love. For my husband is not at home. He has gone on a long journey. He took a bag of silver with him. He comes home on the day of the covering. With her many words she leads him astray. With her smooth lips she seduces him. He goes after her immediately. Like an ox he goes to the slaughter, and as in chains, a fool to the punishment, till an arrow strikes through his liver. Like a bird rushing into a snare, and did not know it would take his high. And now, listen to me, you children. Pay attention to the words of my mouth. Do not let your heart turn aside to her ways. Do not go astray in her paths. For many are the wounded she has caused to fall, and numerous all her slain ones. Her house is the way to the grave, going down to the rooms of death. Chapter 8. Does not wisdom call, and understanding lift up her voice? On the top of the heights along the way, between the paths she has taken her stand. Beside the gates, leading to the city, at the entrances she shouts, O men, I call to you, and my voice is to the sons of men. You simple ones, understand insight, and you fools, be of an understanding heart. Listen, for I speak noble words, and the opening of my lips is about straightness. For my mouth speaks truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness, none of them twisted or crooked. All of them plain to him who understands, and straight to those who find knowledge. Accept my discipline, and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all delights are not comparable to her. I, wisdom, have dwelt with insight, and I find knowledge, foresight. The reverence of the Most High is to hate evil. I have hated pride and arrogance, and the evil way, and the perverse mouth. Counsel is mine, and sound wisdom. I am understanding. Mightiness is mine. By me sovereigns reign, and rulers make righteous decrees. By me princes rule, and nobles, all the judges of the earth. I love those who love me, and those who earnestly seek me find me. Riches and esteem are with me, enduring wealth and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold and fine gold, and my increase than choice silver. I walk in the way of righteousness, in the midst of the paths of right ruling, to bestow substance on those who love me, and to fill their treasuries. The Most High possessed me, the beginning of his way, as the first of his works of old. I was anointed ages ago, at the first, before the earth ever was. When there were no depths I was brought forth, when there were no springs heavy with water. Before mountains were sunk, before the hills, I was brought forth. Before he had made the earth and the fields, or the first dust of the world. When he prepared the Shamayim, I was there. When he decreed a vault on the face of the deep. When he established the clouds above. When he made the fountains of the deep strong. When he gave to the sea its limit, so that the waters would not transgress his command. When he decreed the foundations of the earth. Then I was beside him, a skilled workman, a delight, day by day rejoicing before him all the time. Rejoicing in the world, his earth, and my delights were with the sons of men. And now, listen to me, ye children, for Barak are they who guard my ways. Listen to discipline and become wise, and do not refuse it. Barak is the man who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the posts of my doors. For whoever finds me shall find high, and obtain favor from the Most High. But he who sins against me injures himself. All who hate me love death. Chapter 9. Wisdom has built her house. She has hewn out its 7 columns. She has slaughtered her meat. She has mixed her wine. She has also prepared her table. She has sent out her young women. She cries out from the highest places of the city. Who is simple? Let him turn in here. As for him who lacks heart, she says to him, Come, eat of my bread and drink of the wine I have mixed. Leave the simple ones alive, and walk in the way of understanding. He who reproves a scoffer gets shame for himself, and he who rebukes a wicked one gets himself a blemish. Do not reprove a scoffer, lest he hate you. Reprove a wise one, and he loves you. Give to a wise one, and he is wiser still. Teach a righteous one, and he increases in learning. The reverence of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Kadosh One is understanding. For by me your days become many, and years of life are added to you. If you have become wise, you have become wise for yourself, and if you have scoffed, you alone bear it. A foolish woman is loud, simple, and without knowledge. For she has seated herself at the door of her house, on a seat by the highest places of the city, to call to those who pass by, who go straight on their way. Who is simple? Let him turn in here. And as for him who lacks heart, she says to him, Stolen waters are sweet, and bread in secret is pleasant. But he does not know that the dead are there. Her guests are in the depths of the grave. Chapter 10. Proverbs of Shamayim. A wise son makes a father rejoice, but a foolish son is his mother's sorrow. Treasures of wickedness are of no value, but righteousness delivers from death. The Most High does not let the being of the righteous go hungry, but he thrusts away the desire of the wicked. Poor is he who works with a lazy hand, but the hand of the hard worker makes rich. He who gathers in summer is a wise son. He who sleeps in harvest is a son who causes shame. Barak are on the head of the righteous, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. The remembrance of the righteous is Barak, but the name of the wicked rot. The wise in heart accepts commands, but one with foolish lips falls. He who walks in integrity walks safely, but he who perverts his ways becomes known. He who winks with the eye causes sorrow, and one with foolish lips falls. The mouth of the righteous is a fountain of high, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. Hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all transgressions. Wisdom is found on the lips of him who has understanding, but a rod is for the back of him who lacks heart. The wise treasure up knowledge, but the mouth of a fool is near ruin. The rich man's wealth is his strong city. The ruin of the poor is their poverty. The wage of the righteous is for hire. The increase of the wicked is for sin. He who heeds discipline is in the way of high, but he who refuses reproof goes astray. He who hides hatred has lying lips, and he who sends out slander is a fool. When words are many, transgression is not absent, but he who restrains his lips is wise. The tongue of the righteous is choice silver, the heart of the wicked is of little. The lips of the righteous shepherd many, but fools die for lack of heart. The Barak of the Most High makes one rich, and he adds no pain with it. To work out wicked schemes is like sport to a fool, but wisdom is for a man of understanding. What the wicked fears comes upon him, but the desire of the righteous is granted. As the whirlwind passes by, the wicked is no more, but the righteous an everlasting foundation. As vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes, so is the lazy one to those who send him. The reverence of the Most High prolongs days, but the years of the wicked are shortened. The righteous look forward to joy, but the expectancy of the wicked perish. The way of the Most High is a stronghold for the perfect, but ruin to the workers of wickedness. The righteous are never shaken, while the wicked shall not dwell in the earth. The mouth of the righteous bring forth wisdom, but the tongue of perverseness is cut out. The lips of the righteous know what is pleasing, but the mouth of the wicked, perverseness. Chapter 11. A false scale is an abomination to the Most High, but a perfect weight is his delight. Pride comes, then comes shame, but with the humble is wisdom. The integrity of the straight ones guides them, but the slipperiness of the treacherous destroys them. Riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. The righteousness of the perfect makes his way straight, but by his own wickedness the wicked one falls. The righteousness of the straight ones delivers them, but the treacherous are caught by greed. When a wicked man dies, expectancy perishes, and the ambition of the wicked shall be lost. The righteous is delivered from distress, and the wicked takes his place. The defiled one destroys his neighbor with his mouth, but the righteous is delivered by knowledge. When the righteous prosper, the city rejoices, and when the wicked perish, there is shouting. By the Barak of the straight the city is exalted, but by the mouth of the wicked it is overthrown. He who lacks heart despises his neighbor, but a man of understanding keeps silence. A slanderer is a revealer of secrets, but one with a trustworthy spirit conceals a matter. Without guidance the people fall, but in a great counselor there is safety. He who is guarantor for a stranger suffers harm, but one who hates shaking hands in a pledge is safe. A woman showing favor obtains esteem, but ruthless men obtain riches. A kind man is rewarding his being, but he who is cruel troubles his own flesh. The wicked earns false wages, but the one sowing righteousness, a true reward. Thus righteousness is to high, and one pursuing evil, to his own death. The perverse of heart are an abomination to the Most High, but the perfect in the way are his delight. Hand to hand, the evil one does not go unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall escape. Like a ring of gold in a pig's snout is a lovely woman who lacks good sense. The desire of the righteous is only good. The expectancy of the wicked is wrath. There is one who scatters, yet increases more, and one who withholds from what is right, and is impoverished. The generous being is enriched, and he who waters is also watered himself. The people curse him who withholds grain, but Barak is on the head of him who sells it. He who earnestly seeks good seeks what is pleasing, but to him who seeks evil, it comes to him. He who trusts in his riches falls, but the righteous flourish like a leaf. He who troubles his own house inherits wind, and the fool is servant to the wise of heart. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of high, and he who is winning lives is wise. See, the righteous in the earth shall be rewarded. How much more the wicked and the sinner? Chapter 12. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates reproof is stupid. The good obtains favor from the Most High, but the man of wicked devices he declares wicked. A man is not established by wickedness, but the root of the righteous shall not be moved. A capable wife is the crown of her husband, but one causing shame is like rottenness in his bones. The thoughts of the righteous are right ruling. The counsels of the wicked are deceit. The words of the wicked are, lie in wait for blood, but the mouth of the straight delivers them. The wicked are overthrown, and are no more, but the house of the righteous stands. A man is praised according to his wisdom, but the perverted of heart becomes despised. Better to be lightly esteemed and have a servant than the highly esteemed who lacks bread. The righteous regards the life of his beast, but the compassion of the wicked is cruelty. He who tills his land is satisfied with bread, but he who pursues vanities is lacking heart. The wicked shall covet the catch of evildoers, but the root of the righteous yields fruit. In the transgression of the lips is an evil snare, but the righteous gets out of distress. From the fruit of his mouth one is filled with good, and the work of a man's hands is given back to him. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he who listens to advice is wise. A fool's wrath is known at once, but a clever one covers shame. He who speaks truth declares righteousness, but a false witness, deceit. Rash speaking is like piercings of a sword, but the tongue of the wise is healing. The lip of truth is established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. Deceit is in the heart of those who plot evil, but counselors of peace have joy. No harm befalls the righteous, but the wicked shall be filled with evil. Lying lips are an abomination to the Most High, that those who deal truly are his delight. A clever man is concealing knowledge, but the heart of fools proclaims folly. The hand of the hard worker rules, but the lazy is put to compulsory labor. Anxiety in the heart of man causes depression, but a good word makes him glad. The righteous is a guide to his neighbor, but the way of the wicked leads them astray. The lazy one has no game to roast, but the hard worker prizes his possessions. In the way of righteousness is high, and in its pathway there is no death. Chapter 13. A son is wise through his father's discipline, but a scoffer shall not listen to rebuke. From the fruit of the mouth a man eats the good, but the desire of the treacherous is for violence. He who watches over his mouth guards his being, but he who opens wide his lips comes to ruin. The being of the lazy one craves, but has not, while the being of the hard workers are enriched. A righteous one hates a lying word, but a wicked man is loathsome and comes to shame. Righteousness watches over him who is perfect in the way, but wickedness overthrows the sinner. There is one who makes himself rich, yet has none at all, and one who makes himself poor, yet has great riches. The ransom of a man's life is his riches, but the poor does not hear rebuke. The light of the righteous rejoices, but the lamp of the wicked is put out. By pride comes only strife, but wisdom is with those who take advice. Wealth from vanity diminishes, but he who gathers by hand increases. Expectancy drawn out makes the heart sick, but a longing come true is a tree of high. He who despises the word is destroyed, but he who reveres the command is rewarded. The Torah of the wise is a fountain of Ahayah, turning one away from the snares of death. Good understanding gains favor, but the way of the treacherous is hard. Every one with insight acts with knowledge, but a fool spreads folly. A messenger that is wicked falls into evil, but a trustworthy envoy is a healing. Poverty and shame are for him who ignores discipline, but he who heeds reproof is esteemed. A desire accomplished is sweet to the being, but to turn away from evil is an abomination to fools. He who walks with the wise shall be wise, but the companion of fools suffers evil. Evil pursues sinners, but good is repaid to the righteous. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, but the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. Much food is in the tillable ground of the poor, but lack of right ruling sweeps it away. He who spares his rod hates his son, but he who loves him seeks him with discipline. The righteous eats to the satisfying of his being, but the stomach of the wicked is lacking. Chapter 14. Every wise woman has built her house, but the foolish breaks it down with her hands. He who walks in his straightness reveres the Most High, but he whose ways are crooked despises him. In the mouth of a fool is a rod of pride, but the lips of the wise guard them. Where there are no oxen, the crib is clean, but from the strength of an ox comes much increase. A trustworthy witness does not lie, but a false witness breathes out lies. A scoffer shall seek wisdom, but is unable, but knowledge is swift to him who has understanding. Leave the presence of a foolish man, for you shall not perceive the lips of knowledge. The wisdom of the clever is to understand his way, but the folly of fools is deceit. Fools scoff at guilt, but among the straight there is delight. The heart knows its own bitterness, and no stranger shares its joy. The house of the wicked is destroyed, but the tent of the straight flourishes. There is a way which seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. Even in laughter the heart is in pain, and the end of that joy is heaviness. The backslider in heart is satisfied with his own ways, but a good man from above. The simple believes every word, but the clever one watches his step. The wise fears and turns away from evil, but a fool rushes on and is reckless. He who is impatient acts foolishly, and a man who plans wickedness is hated. The simple shall inherit folly, but the clever are crowned with knowledge. The evil ones shall bow before the good, and the wicked ones at the gates of the righteous. The poor is hated even by his own neighbor, but the rich has many friends. He who despises his neighbor sins, but he who shows favor to the poor, O Barak is he. Do not those who plan evil go astray, but kindness and truth are to those who plan good. In all labor there is profit, but talk of the lips only to poverty. The crown of the wise is their wealth, the folly of fools is folly. A true witness saves lives, but he who breathes out lies is a betrayer. In the reverence of the Most High is strong trust, and his children have a place of refuge. The reverence of the Most High is a fountain of high, to turn away from the snares of death. In a multitude of people is a sovereign splendor, but in the lack of people is the ruin of a prince. He who is patient has great understanding, but he who is short of spirit exalts folly. A healthy heart is life to the body, but envy is rottenness to the bones. He who oppresses the poor reproaches his Maker, but he who esteems him shows favor to the needy. By his own evil-doing the wicked is thrust down, but the righteous has a refuge in his death. Wisdom rests in the heart of him who has understanding, and among fools it becomes known. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to peoples. The sovereign's delight is toward a wise servant, but his wrath is towards him who causes shame. Chapter 15. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up displeasure. The tongue of the wise makes knowledge good, but the mouth of fools pours out foolishness. The eyes of the Most High are in every place, watching the evil and the good. A healing tongue is a tree of high, but perverseness in it crushes the spirit. A fool despises his father's discipline, but he who heeds reproof is clever. The household of the righteous is a great treasure, but in the income of the wicked is trouble. The lips of the wise scatter knowledge, but the heart of fools is not so. The slaughtering of the wicked is an abomination to the Most High, but the prayer of the straight is his delight. The way of the wicked is an abomination to the Most High, but he loves him who pursues righteousness. Discipline is grievous to him who forsakes the way. He who hates reproof dies. The grave and destruction are before the Most High. How much more the hearts of the sons of men? A scoffer does not love his reprover, nor does he go to the wise. A glad heart makes good a face, but by sorrow of heart the spirit is stricken. The heart of the understanding one seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feeds on folly. All the days of the afflicted are evil, but gladness of heart is a continual feast. Better is a little with the reverence of the Most High than great treasure with trouble. Better is a meal of vegetables where love is, than a fatted calf with hatred. A man of wrath stirs up strife, but he who is patient appeases strife. The way of a lazy one is like a hedge of thorns, but the way of the straight is a highway. A wise son makes a father glad, but a foolish man despises his mother. Folly is joy to one lacking heart, but a man of understanding walks straight. Without counsel, plans are nullified, but by great counselors they are established. A man has joy by the answer of his mouth, and how good is a word in its season. The path of high is upward for the wise, to turn away from the grave below. The Most High tears down the house of the proud, and he establishes the boundary of the widow. Evil thoughts are an abomination to the Most High, but pleasant words are clean. He who is greedy for gain troubles his own house, but he who hates bribes lives. The heart of the righteous ponders how to answer, but the mouth of the wicked pours out evil. The Most High is far from the wicked, but he hears the prayer of the righteous. The light of the eyes rejoices the heart. A good report gives marrow to the bones. An ear that hears the reproof of high dwells among the wise. He who ignores discipline hates himself, but he who listens to reproof gets understanding. The reverence of the Most High is the discipline of wisdom, and before esteem is humility. Chapter 16. To man belongs the preparations of the heart, but from the Most High is the answer of the tongue. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Most High weighs the spirits. Commit your works to the Most High, and your plans shall be established. The Most High has made all for his purpose, and also the wicked for the day of evil. Everyone proud in heart is an abomination to the Most High. Hand to hand, he does not go unpunished. By kindness and truth wickedness is pardon, and in the reverence of the Most High one turns away from evil. When a man's ways please the Most High, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. Better is a little with righteousness than a large income without right ruling. A man's heart plans his way, but the Most High establishes his steps. An oath is on the lips of the sovereign. In right ruling his mouth trespasses not. A right scale and balances are of the Most High. All the weights in the bag are his work. It is an abomination for sovereigns to commit wickedness, for a throne is established by righteousness. Righteous lips are the delight of sovereigns, and they love him who speaks what is straight. The sovereign's wrath is a messenger of death, but a wise man appeases it. In the light of sovereign's face is life, and his delight is like a cloud of the latter rain. How much better it is to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding is preferable to silver. The highway of the straight is to turn away from evil. He who guards his high watches over his way. Before destruction, pride, and before a fall, a haughty spirit. Better to be lowly in spirit with the poor than to divide the spoil with the proud. He who acts wisely concerning the word finds good, and Barak is he who trusts in the Most High. The wise-hearted is called discerning, and sweetness of lips increases learning. Understanding is a fountain of high to him who has it, but the disciplining of fools is folly. The heart of the wise gives discretion to his mouth, and he increases learning to his lips. Pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweet to the being, and healing to the bones. There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. He who labors for himself, for his mouth drives him on. A man of Belial plots evil, and on his lips it is like a burning fire. A perverse man sends forth strife, and a slanderer separates intimate friends. A malicious man entices his neighbor, and leads him in a way that is not good. Winking with his eye to plot perversity, moving his lips, he shall bring about evil. Gray hair is a crown of adorning. It is found in the way of righteousness. He who is patient is better than the mighty, and he who rules over his spirit than he who takes a city. The lot is cast into the lap, but every decision by it is from the Most High. Chapter 17. Better is a dry piece of bread and rest with it, than a house filled with the offerings of strife. A wise servant rules over a son who causes shame, and shares an inheritance among the brothers. A refining pot is for silver, and a furnace for gold, but the Most High tries the hearts. An evildoer gives heed to wicked lips. A liar gives ear to a tongue of desire. He who mocks the poor reproaches his Maker. He who rejoices at calamity does not go unpunished. Children's children are the crown of old men, and the adornment of children is their fathers. Excellent speech is not fitting for a fool, much less lying lips for a noble. A present is a stone of favor in the eyes of its owner. Wherever he turns, he prospers. He who covers a transgression seeks love, but he who repeats a matter separates intimate friends. Reproof enters deeper into a wise man than 100 blows on a fool. An evil one seeks only rebellion, so a cruel messenger is sent against him. Let a bereaved bear meet a man, rather than a fool in his folly. Whoever rewards evil for good, evil does not leave his house. The beginning of strife is like releasing water. Therefore stop fighting before it breaks out. He who declares the wicked right, and he who condemns the righteous, both of them are an abomination to the Most High. Why is this a price in the hand of a fool to buy wisdom, when there is no heart? A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. A man lacking heart shakes hands in a pledge. He becomes a guarantor for his friend. He who loves transgression loves strife. He who exalts his door seeks destruction. He who has a crooked heart finds no good, and he who has a perverse tongue falls into evil. He who brings forth a fool has sorrow for it, and the father of a fool has no joy. A rejoicing heart causes good healing, but a stricken spirit dries the bones. One who is wicked accepts a bribe behind the back to pervert the paths of right ruling. Wisdom is before the face of the understanding one, but the eyes of a fool are on the ends of the earth. A foolish son is a grief to his father, and bitterness to her who bore him. It is also not good to punish the righteous one, to smite noble ones for straightness. He who has knowledge spares his words, and a man of understanding is cool of spirit. Even a fool keeping silence is regarded as wise, as understanding, when he closes his lips. Chapter 18. The separatist seeks self-desire. He breaks out against all sound wisdom. A fool does not delight in understanding, but in uncovering his own heart. When a wicked one comes, scorn comes too, and with shame, reproach. The words of a man's mouth are deep waters. The fountain of wisdom is a flowing stream. It is not good to show partiality to the wicked, or to turn aside the righteous in right ruling. A fool's lips enter into strife, and his mouth calls for blows. A fool's mouth is his ruin, and his lips are the snare of his life. The words of a slanderer are like delicacies, and they go down into the inner parts of the heart. Also, he who is slack in his work is a brother of a master destroyer. The name of the Most High is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe. The rich man's wealth is his strong city, and like a high wall in his own imagination. Before destruction the heart of a man is haughty, and before esteem is humility. He who answers a matter before he hears it, it is folly and shame to him. The spirit of a man sustains him in sickness. But who can bear a broken spirit? The heart of the understanding one gets knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. A man's gift makes room for him, and brings him before great men. The first to state his own case is right, until another comes and examines him. The lot settles disputes, and separates between the mighty. A brother transgressed against is a strong city, and contentions are like the bars of a citadel. A man's stomach is satisfied from the fruit of his mouth. He is satisfied by the increase of his lips. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those loving it eat its fruit. He who has found a wife has found good, and receives favor from the Most High. The poor speaks beseechingly, but the rich answers fiercely. A man of friends might come to ruin, but there is a loving one who sticks closer than a brother. Chapter 19. Better is the poor walking in his integrity than one of perverse lips. Who is a fool? Also, desire without knowledge is not good, and he who hurries with his feet sins. The foolishness of a man perverts his way, and his heart is wroth against the Most High. Wealth adds many friends, but the poor is separated from his friend. A false witness does not go unpunished, and he who breathes out lies does not escape. Many entreat the favor of the noble, and all are friends to him who gives gifts. All the brothers of the poor shall hate him. How much more shall his friends go far from him? He pursues promises, they are gone. He who gets hard loves his own life. He who guards understanding finds good. A false witness does not go unpunished, and he who breathes out lies perishes. Luxury is not fitting for a fool, much less for a servant to rule over princes. A man's discretion makes him patient, and his adorning is to pass over a transgression. The sovereign's wrath is like the roaring of a lion, but his delight is like dew on the grass. A foolish son is a calamity to his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dripping. Houses and riches are the inheritance from fathers, but an understanding wife is from the Most High. Laziness makes one fall into a deep sleep, and an idle being suffers hunger. He who guards the command guards his high. He who despises his ways dies. He who shows favor to the poor lends to the Most High, and he repays his deed. Discipline your son because there is expectation, but do not apply your being to his destruction. One of great wrath bears punishment, for if you rescue, you only have to do it again. Listen to counsel and accept discipline, so that you are wise in your latter end. Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the counsel of the Most High that stands. What is desirable in a man is his kindness, and a poor man is better than a liar. The reverence of the Most High leads to high, and he remains satisfied. He is not visited by evil. A lazy one buries his hand in a dish, and does not bring it back to his mouth. Beat a scoffer, and the simple is made wise, and reprove one who has understanding, and he discerns knowledge. He who plunders a father, chases away his mother, is a son causing shame and bringing reproach. Cease, my son, to hear discipline. You will stray from the words of knowledge. A witness of Belial scorns right ruling, and the mouth of the wicked devours wickedness. Judgments are in store for scoffers, and beatings for the backs of fools. Chapter 20. Wine is a scoffer, strong drink a brawler, and whoever is led astray by it is not wise. The dread of a sovereign is like the roaring of a lion. Whoever provokes him sins against his own life. For a man to cease from strife is esteemed, but every fool bursts out. The lazy one does not plow after the autumn. At harvest time he inquires, there is none. Counsel in the heart of man is like deep water, but a man of understanding draws it up. Most men proclaim each his own kindness, but who finds a trustworthy man? The righteous man walks in his integrity. His children are Barak after him. A sovereign who sits on the throne of judgment is scattering all evil with his eyes. Who says, I have cleansed my heart, I am purged of my sin, differing weights and differing measures. Both of them are an abomination to the Most High. Even a child is known by his deeds, whether his work is clear and right. The hearing ear and the seeing eye, the Most High has made both of them. Do not love sleep, lest you become poor. Open your eyes, be satisfied with bread. Evil, evil, cries the buyer, but when he has gone his way, then he boasts, there is gold and a multitude of rubies. But the lips of knowledge are a precious vessel. Take the garment of one who is guarantor for a stranger, and hold it as a pledge when it is for foreigners. Bread gained by deceit might be sweet to a man, but afterward his mouth is filled with gravel. By counsel, plans are established, and by wise guidance wage a battle. He who goes about as a slanderer reveals secrets. Therefore do not associate with him who speaks smoothly with his lips. Whoever curses his father or his mother, his lamp is put out in deep darkness. An inheritance obtained with greed at the beginning is not Barak at the end. Do not say, I repay evil. Wait for the Most High, and he saves you. Differing weights are an abomination to the Most High, and a false scale is not good. The steps of a man are from the Most High. What does a man know about his own way? It is a snare for a man to say rashly, it is Kodesh, and only later to reconsider his vows. A wise sovereign winnows out the wicked, and turns the wheel over them. The spirit of a man is the lamp of the Most High, searching all his inmost parts. Kindness and truth watch over the sovereign, and he shall support his throne by kindness. The comeliness of young men is their strength, and the splendor of old men is their gray hair. The blows that wound cleanse away evil, and strokes the inner parts of the heart. Chapter 21. The sovereign's heart is as channels of water in the hand of the Most High. He turns it wherever he wants. All a man's ways are right in his own eyes, but the Most High weighs the hearts. To do righteousness and right ruling is more acceptable to the Most High than a slaughtering. A haughty look, a proud heart, the lamp of the wicked, are sin. The plans of the hard worker lead only to plenty, but all rash haste only to poverty. Gaining treasures by a lying tongue is a fleeting vapor, heading for death. The spoil of the wicked catches them, because they refuse to do right ruling. The way of a guilty man is perverse, but as for the innocent, his work is right. It is better to dwell in a corner of a roof than in a house shared with a contentious woman. The desire of the wicked is applied to evil. His neighbor finds no favor in his eyes. When the scoffer is punished, the simple is made wise. But when the wise is instructed, he receives knowledge. The righteous one wisely considers the house of the wicked. He overthrows the wicked for their evil. Whoever shuts his ears to the cry of the poor, let him also cry and not be heard. A gift in secret subdues displeasure, and a bribe in the bosom, strong wrath. To do right ruling is joy to the righteous, but ruin to the workers of wickedness. A man who strays from the way of understanding rests in the assembly of the dead. He who loves pleasure is a poor man. He who loves wine and oil does not become rich. The wicked is a ransom for the righteous, and the treacherous for the straight. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and wroth woman. Desirable treasure and oil are in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man swallows it up. He who pursues righteousness and kindness finds high righteousness and esteem. A wise one scales the city of the mighty and brings down the trusted stronghold. Whoever guards his mouth and tongue guards his life from distresses. Proud, haughty, scoffer is his name. He acts with arrogant pride. The desire of the lazy man slays him, for his hands refuse to work. He covets greedily all day long, but the righteous gives and does not withhold. The slaughtering of the wicked is an abomination. How much more when he brings it with wickedness? A false witness perishes, but the man who obeys speaks forever. A wicked man hardens his face, but as for the straight, he establishes his way. There is no wisdom or understanding or counsel against the Most High. The horse is prepared for the day of battle, but the deliverance is of the Most High. Chapter 22. A name is preferable to great riches. Favor is better than silver and gold. The rich and the poor meet together. The Most High is the maker of them all. A clever one foresees evil and hides himself, but the simple go on and are punished. The reward of humility is the reverence of the Most High, riches and esteem and high. Thorns, snares are in the way of the perverse. He who guards his high keeps far away from them. Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he turns not away from it. The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. He who sows unrighteousness reaps trouble, and the rod of his wrath perishes. He who has a good eye is Barak, for he gives of his bread to the poor. Cast out the scoffer, and strife goes out, and contention and shame cease. He who loves cleanness of heart, whose speech is pleasant, a sovereign is his friend. The eyes of the Most High shall watch over knowledge, but he overthrows the words of the treacherous. The lazy one says, "There is a lion outside. I am going to be killed in the streets." The mouth of a strange woman is a deep pit. The one denounced by the Most High falls in there. Folly is bound up in the heart of a child. The rod of discipline drives it far from him. One oppresses the poor to increase. Another gives to the rich, only to come to poverty. Incline your ear and hear the words of the wise, and apply your heart to my knowledge. For they are pleasant if you guard them within you. Let all of them be ready on your lips, that your trust might be in the Most High. I caused you to know today, even you. Have I not previously written to you of counsels and knowledge, to cause you to know the certainty of the words of truth, to return words of truth to those who send to you? Do not rob the poor because he is poor, and oppress not the afflicted at the gate. For the Most High pleads their cause, and shall plunder those who plunder them. Make no friendship with one given to wrath, and do not go with a man of rage, lest you learn his ways, and find yourself ensnared. Do not be one of those who shakes hands in a pledge, one of those who are guarantors for debts, if you do not have the means to pay. Why should he take away your bed from under you? Do not move the ancient boundary which your fathers have established. Do you see a man who is skilled in his work? He stands before sovereigns. He does not stand before obscure ones. Chapter 23. When you sit down to eat with a ruler, look well what is before you, and put a knife to your throat, if you are a man given to appetite. Do not desire his delicacies, for that food is deceptive. Do not labor to be rich. Cease from your own understanding. Do you lay your eyes on that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away like an eagle to the Shamayim. Do not eat the bread of an evil-eyed one, nor desire his delicacies. For as he reckons in his life, so is he. Eat and drink, he says to you, but his heart is not with you. You vomit the peace you have eaten, and lose your sweet words. Do not speak in the ears of a fool, for he treads on the wisdom of your words. Do not move the ancient boundary, and do not enter the fields of the fatherless. For their Redeemer is strong. He shall plead their cause against you. Bring your heart to discipline, and your ears to words of knowledge. Do not withhold discipline from a child. If you beat him with a rod, he does not die. Beat him with a rod, and deliver his being from the grave. My son, if your heart shall be wise, my heart rejoices, even I, and my kidneys exult when your lips speak what is straight. Do not let your heart envy sinners, but be in the reverence of the Most High all day long. For certain, there is a latter end, and let your expectancy not be cut off. Hear, my son, and be wise, and guide your heart in the way. Be not among heavy drinkers of wine, or with gluttonous eaters of meat. For the drunkard and the glutton become poor, and slumber clothes in rags. Listen to your father who brought you forth, and do not despise your mother when she is old. Attain the truth and do not sell it, wisdom and discipline and understanding. The father of the righteous greatly rejoices, and he who brings forth a wise one delights in him. Let your father and your mother rejoice, and let her who bore you exult. My son, give me your heart, and let your eyes watch my ways. For a whore is a deep pit, and a strange woman is a narrow well. She too lies in wait as for a prey, and increases the treacherous among men. Who has woe? Who has sorrow? Who has contentions? Who has complaints? Who feels hurt without cause? Who has redness of eyes? Those staying long at the wine, those going in to search out mixed wine. Do not look on the wine when it is red, when it gives its color in the cup, as it flows smoothly. In the end it bites like a snake, and stings like an adder. Your eyes look on strange women, and your heart speaks perversities. And you shall be as one lying down in the midst of the sea, and as one lying at the top of the mast, saying, They smote me, I was not sick. They beat me, I did not know. When shall I wake up? Let me seek it again. Chapter 24. Do not envy evil men, nor desire to be with them. For their heart plots to ravage, and their lips talk of trouble. By wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established. And by knowledge the rooms are filled with all precious and pleasant riches. Mighty is the wise in strength, and a man of knowledge strengthens power. For by wise guidance you wage your own battle, and delivery is by a great counselor. Wisdom is high for a fool. He does not open his mouth in the gate. He who plots to do evil is called a master of evil plots. The purpose of folly is sin, and the scoffer is an abomination to men. If you falter in the day of distress, your strength is small. Deliver those taken to death, and hold back those stumbling to the slaughter. If you say, See, we did not know this, would not he who weighs the hearts discern it? He who watches over your life, would he not know it? And shall he not repay man according to his work? My son, eat honey, for it is good, and the honeycomb, sweet to your taste. Know that wisdom is best to your being. If you have found it, there is a future, and your expectancy is not cut off. Do not lie in wait, O wicked, against the dwelling of the righteous. Do not ravage his resting place. For 7 times a righteous man falls and rises, but the wicked stumbles into evil. Do not exult when your enemy falls, and let not your heart rejoice when he stumbles, lest the Most High see, and it be evil in his eyes, and he turn away his wrath from him. Do not fret because of evildoers, and do not envy the wicked. For there is no future for the evildoer. The lamp of the wicked is put out. My son, revere the Most High and the Sovereign. Do not mingle with those who change, for their calamity arises suddenly, and who knows the ruin of both of them? These also are for the wise. It is not good to show partiality in right ruling. He who says to the wicked, You are righteous, peoples curse him, nations despise him. But those who rebuke, it is pleasant, and a good Barak comes on them. He who gives a right answer kisses the lips. Prepare your work outside, and make it fit for yourself in the field. Then you shall build your house. Do not witness against your neighbor without cause, and do not deceive with your lips. Do not say, Let me do to him as he did to me. I repay each according to his work. I passed by the field of the lazy, and by the vineyard of the man lacking heart. And see, it was all overgrown with thorns. Its surface was covered with nettles, and its stone wall was broken down. When I saw it, I applied my heart to it. I looked and received discipline. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. And your poverty shall come progressing, and your need like an armed man. Chapter 25. These 2 are proverbs of Shalomo, which the men of Hiskiyahu, sovereign of Yahudah, copied. It is the esteem of Elohim to hide a matter, and the esteem of sovereigns to search out a matter. The Shamayim for height, and the earth for depth. But the heart of sovereigns is unsearchable. Take away the dross from silver, and a vessel comes forth for the refiner. Take away the wicked from before the sovereign, and his throne is established in righteousness. Do not exalt yourself before a sovereign, and do not stand in the place of great men. For it is better for him to say to you, Come up here, than that you should be put lower before a noble whom your eyes have seen. Do not go forth to strive in haste. For what would you do in the end, when your neighbor has put you to shame? Plead your case with your neighbor himself, and do not disclose the secret of another, lest he who hears it put you to shame, and your evil report turn not back. A word spoken at the right time is like apples of gold and mountings of silver. A ring of gold and an ornament of fine gold is a wise one's reproof to an ear that hears. Like the cold of snow in time of harvest is a trustworthy messenger to those who send him, for he refreshes the life of his masters. Clouds and wind without rain is he who boasts of his gifts falsely. Through patience a ruler is persuaded, and a soft tongue shatters a bone. Have you found honey? Eat only as much as you need, lest you be satisfied with it and vomit. Make your foot rare in your neighbor's house, lest he gets enough of you and hate you. A club and a sword and a sharp arrow is a man bearing false witness against his neighbor. A broken tooth or a foot out of joint is trust in a treacherous man in time of distress. One who takes away a garment in cold weather is vinegar on soda, and a singer of songs on an evil heart. If your enemy is hungry, give him bread to eat, and if he is thirsty, give him water to drink. For you are heaping coals of fire on his head, and the Most High rewards you. The north wind brings rain, and a secret tongue an enraged face. It is better to dwell in a corner of a roof than in a house shared with a contentious woman. Cold water to a parched throat is good news from a distant land. A muddied spring and a ruined fountain is a righteous man who gives way before the wicked. It is not good to eat much honey. Is it esteemed to seek one's own esteem? A broken down city without a wall is a man who has no control over his spirit. Chapter 26. Like snow in summer and rain in harvest, so esteem is not fitting for a fool. As a bird wanders, as a swallow flies about, so a curse without cause does not come. A whip for a horse, a bridle for a donkey, and a rod for the fool's back. Do not answer a fool according to his folly, lest you also become like him. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he become wise in his own eyes. He who sends a message by the hand of a fool cuts off feet, drinks violence. The legs of the lame hang limp. So is a proverb in the mouth of fools, like one binding a stone in a sling. So is he who gives esteem to a fool. A thorn goes into the hand of a drunkard. So is a proverb in the mouth of fools. An archer who wounds anyone is he who hires a fool or any passerby. As a dog returns to his own vomit, so a fool repeats his folly. Have you seen a man wise in his own eyes? There is more expectancy for a fool than for him. The lazy one says, "There is a lion in the way. A fierce lion is in the streets." A door turns on its hinges. So does the lazy one turn on his bed. The lazy one buries his hand in a dish. It tires him to bring it back to his mouth. The lazy one is wiser in his own eyes than 7 rendering advice. One who takes a dog by the ears is a passer-by meddling in a strife, not his own, like a madman who throws sparks, arrows, and death. So is a man who deceived his neighbor, and says, "I was only joking." For lack of wood, the fire goes out, and without a slanderer, strife ceases. Charcoal is for burning coals, and wood to fire. So is a contentious man to kindle strife. The words of a slanderer are as dainty morsels, which go down into the inner parts of the heart. Earthenware covered with silver dross are burning lips with an evil heart. He who hates pretends with his lips, and lays up deceit within him. Though he speaks kindly, do not believe him, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Hatred is covered by deceit. His evil is disclosed in the assembly. Whoever digs a pit falls into it, and whoever rolls a stone, it turns back on him. A lying tongue hates its bruised ones, and a flattering mouth works ruin. Chapter 27. Do not boast of tomorrow, for you do not know what a day brings forth. let another man praise you, and not your own mouth, a stranger, and not your own lips. A stone is heavy and sand is weighty, but a fool's wrath is heavier than both. Wrath is cruel and displeasure overwhelming, but who is able to stand before jealousy? Open reproof is better than hidden love. The wounds of a friend are true, but the kisses of an enemy are profuse. One satisfied loathes the honeycomb, but to a hungry one any bitter is sweet. Like a bird that wanders from its nest, so is a man who wanders from his place. Ointment and perfume gladden the heart, so one's counsel is sweet to his friend. Do not forsake your own friend or your father's friend, and do not go into your brother's house in the day of your calamity. Better is a neighbor nearby than a brother far away. My son, be wise and gladden my heart, that I might have a word for him who reproaches me. A clever man foresees calamity, hides himself. The simple shall go on, they are punished. Take the garment of him who is guarantor for a stranger, and for a strange woman pledge it. He who greets his friend loudly early in the morning shall have it reckoned to him as a curse. Drops that never cease on a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike. Whoever represses her represses the wind, and his right hand encounters oil. Iron is sharpened by iron, and a man sharpens the face of his friend. He who tends the fig tree eats its fruit, and he who guards his master is esteemed. As in water face is to face, so a man's heart to man. The grave and destruction are not satisfied, so the eyes of man are not satisfied. A refining pot is for silver, and a furnace for gold, so a man is tried by his praise. Even if you pound a fool in a mortar with a pestle along with crushed grain, his folly shall not leave him. Know well the state of your flocks. Apply your heart to your herds. For riches are not forever, nor a diadem to all generations. Grass vanishes, and new grass appears, and the vegetation of the mountains are gathered in. The lambs are for your garments, and the goats for the price of a field. And goats, milk enough for your food, for the food of your household, and sustenance for your girls. Chapter 28. The wicked shall flee though no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. Because of transgression of a land, many are its rulers, but by a man of understanding and knowledge, right is maintained. A poor man who oppresses the poor is a sweeping rain that leaves no food. Those who forsake the Torah praise the wicked. Those who guard the Torah strive with them. Evil men do not understand right ruling, but those who seek the Most High understand all. Better is the poor who walks in his integrity than one perverse in his ways. Who is rich? He who watches over the Torah is a discerning son, but a companion of gluttons shames his father. He who increases his possessions by interest and profit gathers it for him who shows favor to the poor. He who turns away his ear from hearing the Torah, even his prayer is an abomination. He who causes the straight to go astray in an evil way falls into his own pit, but the perfect inherit the good. A rich man is wise in his own eyes, but the poor who has understanding searches him out. When the righteous exult, there is great comeliness, but when the wicked arise, a man is searched for. He who hides his transgressions does not prosper, but he who confesses and forsakes them finds compassion. Barak is the man who always reveres, but he who hardens his heart falls into evil. A roaring lion and a charging bear is a wicked ruler over poor people. A leader who lacks understanding is a great oppressor, but the hater of greed prolongs his days. A man oppressed by blood guilt flees into a pit. Let no one help him. He who walks blamelessly is saved, but the perverted of ways falls at once. He who tills his land is satisfied with bread, but he who pursues vanities is filled with poverty. A man of truth has many by rake-off, but one in a hurry to be rich does not go unpunished. To show partiality is not good, because for a piece of bread a man would transgress. A man with an evil eye runs after wealth, and does not know that poverty awaits him. He who reproves a man finds more favor afterward than he who flatters with the tongue. He who robs his father or his mother and says, "It is no transgression," he is a companion to a destroyer. He who is greedy stirs up strife, but he who trusts in the Most High prospers. He who trusts in his own heart is a fool, but he who walks wisely is delivered. He who gives to the poor does not lack, but he who hides his eyes has many curses. When the wicked rise up, men hide themselves, but when they perish, the righteous increase. Chapter 29. One often reproved, hardening his neck, is suddenly broken, and there is no healing. When the righteous increase, the people rejoice, but when a wicked one rules, the people sigh. He who loves wisdom gladdens his father, but a companion of whores destroys wealth. A sovereign establishes a land by right ruling, but one who receives bribes throws it down. A man who flatters his neighbor spreads a net for his own feet. An evil man is ensnared by transgression, but the righteous sings and rejoices. The righteous knows the plea of the poor. The wicked do not understand knowledge. Scoffers ensnare a city, but the wise turn away wrath. When a wise man disputes with a foolish man, whether he rages or laughs, there is no peace. Bloodthirsty men hate the perfect, and seek the life of the straight. A fool lets out all his breath, but the wise calms it down afterward. If a ruler listens to lying words, all his servants become wicked. The poor man and the oppressor have this in common: the Most High gives light to the eyes of both. The sovereign who rightly rules the poor with truth, his throne is established forever. A rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child unrestrained brings shame to his mother. When the wicked become many, transgression increases, but the righteous look on their fall. Discipline your son, and he brings you rest and delight to your life. Where there is no vision, the people are let loose, but Barak is he who guards the Torah. A servant is not disciplined by words. Though he understands, he does not respond. Have you seen a man hasty in his words? There is more expectancy for a fool than for him. He who deals tenderly with his servant from youth has him as a son in the end. A man of displeasure stirs up strife, and a master of rage has many a transgression. The pride of man brings him low, but the humble in spirit obtains esteem. He who shares with a thief hates his own high. He hears an oath, but does not report. The fear of man brings a snare, but whoever trusts in the Most High is made high. Many seek the face of a ruler, but right ruling for man comes from the Most High. An unrighteous man is an abomination to the righteous, and he who is straight in the way is an abomination to the wicked. Chapter 30. The words of Agur son of Yakeh, a message. This man declared to Ithiel and Ukal, "For I am more stupid than anyone, and do not have the understanding of a man. And I have not learned wisdom, that I should know the knowledge of the Kadosh One, who has gone up to the Shamayim and come down, who has gathered the wind in his fist, who has bound the waters in a garment, who established all the ends of the earth. What is his name, and what is the name of his ben, if you know? Every word of Eloah is refined. He is a shield to those taking refuge in him. Do not add to his words, lest he reprove you, and you be found a liar. 2 I have asked of you. Do not deny them to me before I die. Remove falsehood and a lying word far from me. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me my portion of bread, lest becoming satisfied and I deny, and I say, Who is the Most High? And lest I be poor, and steal, and seize the name of my Elohim. Do not slander a servant to his master, lest he curse you, and you be found guilty. There is a generation that curses its father, and does not Barak its mother. There is a generation, clean in its own eyes, but not washed from its own filth. There is a generation, oh, how haughty are their eyes, and their eyelids are lifted up. There is a generation whose teeth are swords, and whose jaw teeth are knives, to devour the poor from off the earth, and the needy from men. The leech has 2 daughters. Give, give. 3 are not satisfied, 4 that never say, enough. The grave and the barren womb, land not satisfied with water, and fire which never says, enough. An eye that mocks his father, and scorns to obey his mother. Ravens of the wadi dig it out, and young eagles eat it. 3 are too marvelous for me, and 4 which I do not understand. The way of an eagle in the Shamayim, the way of a snake on a rock, the way of a ship in the heart of the sea, and the way of a man with a girl. This is the way of an adulterous woman. She shall eat and wipe her mouth, and say, I have not done wickedness. Under 3 the earth trembles, and under 4 it is unable to bear. Under a servant when he reigns, and a fool when he is satisfied with food. Under a hated woman who marries, and a female servant who supplants her mistress. There are 4 which are little on the earth, but they are exceedingly wise. The ants are a people not strong, yet they prepare their food in the summer. The rock badgers are a weak folk, yet they make their homes in the crags. The locusts have no sovereign, yet they all go out in formation. A spider takes hold with 2 hands, and is in sovereigns' palaces. There are 3 that are going well, and 4 are good in walking. A lion, which is mighty among beasts, and does not turn away from facing all. A greyhound, and a male goat, and a sovereign whose army is with him. If you have been foolish in lifting up yourself, or if you have plotted evil, put your hand on your mouth. For as milk under pressure brings forth curds, and as a nose under pressure brings forth blood, so wrath under pressure brings forth strife. Chapter 31. The words of Sovereign Lemuel, a message which his mother taught him. What, my son? And what, son of my womb? And what, son of my vows? Do not give your strength to women, nor your ways to wiping away sovereigns. Not for sovereigns, O Lemuel, not for sovereigns to drink wine, nor for princes to desire strong drink, lest they drink and forget the law, and pervert the right of all the afflicted. Give strong drink to him who is perishing, and wine to those embittered in being. Let him drink and forget his poverty, and remember his trouble no more. Open your mouth for the dumb, and the cause of all the sons of the departed. Open your mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Who finds a capable wife? For she is worth far more than rubies. The heart of her husband shall trust her, and he has no lack of gain. She shall do him good, and not evil, all the days of her life. She shall seek wool and flax, and with delight she works with her hands. She shall be as the ships of Tarshish. She brings in her food from afar. She also rises while it is still night, and provides food for her household, and a portion for her girls. She shall consider a field and buy it. From her profits she shall plant a vineyard. She shall gird herself with strength, and strengthen her arms. She shall taste when her gain is good. Her lamp does not go out by night. She shall stretch out her hands to the distaff, and her hand shall hold the spindle. She shall extend her hand to the poor, and she shall reach out her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household is dressed in scarlet. She shall make tapestry for herself. She is dressed in fine linen and purple. Her husband is known in the gates, when he sits among the elders of the land. She shall make fine linen and sell them, and shall give girdles for the merchants. Strength and splendor are her garments, and she rejoices in time to come. She shall open her mouth with wisdom, and on her tongue is the Torah of kindness. She watches over the ways of her household, and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children shall rise up and call her Barak, her husband, and he praises her. Many daughters have done nobly, but you have risen over them all. Loveliness is deceptive, and prettiness is vain. A woman who reveres the Most High is to be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her works praise her in the gates.